My name is Jonan Kandwanaho and I'm the CEO and founder at Jonaki Holdings Limited. And at Jonaki Holdings Limited, we give money. We don't give it free of charge, but we rather lend. We lend money. And we've been doing that for the last 8 years and still counting. So we're in this for a long haul, for a long period of time. So we provide financial relief. You have something emergent, you have something very, very urgent that you want to address. We provide financial relief, quick financial relief. So you can always look us out and check us out on our website www.jonakiholdings.com. It's a pleasure to have you guys. I see Ronald Nimusima, glad to have you today. Welcome back from Easter holiday. And all these guys, all of us here in Uganda, it is 5:30. Anywhere in the world, I'm not sure which country you're in, but thanks for tuning in, wherever you're watching from. I always look forward to interacting with you and having you around. You can always check us out on our YouTube, Jonan Kandwanaho. Subscribe, it's free of charge, and click on that bell so that every video that is uploaded, you can actually get notified that there is something in your industry. And as I've already shared, it's important that you get so good at your game in your industry. If you deal in finances, it's good that your new game, your A game in the financial world. If you're in oil and gas, you have to actually get to know or understand what's happening in that world. You have to have the latest information, latest news, and how you can compete. Or else, before you know it, you'll be out of business. That's why it's important that if you belong to a particular industry, you're good at your game. And you know what it is that is happening in that industry. That's why I've even been able to share with you in this industry, financial world, money lending. So that if you're good or you want to start something in that line, you actually can get acquainted with the information or the knowledge that you need to get you started. So it's important that you get to understand what's happening in the world of your industry. So today's part is part 3. I've done part 1, I've done part 2. Today we're going to talk about part 3. And I'm basically taking you through the journey that I've walked, that Jonaki Holdings Limited has walked ever since we started. It's been a gradual organic growth and gradual process, which I think you can pick 1 or 2 things, the journey that we've walked. So I've done part 1 and part 2. You can check them out on our YouTube, Jonan Kandwanaho. Click on that bell, subscribe, and then you'll get notified of when another video in that industry comes through. I've concentrated for this year, I'll be talking about money lending or something having to do with finances, majorly. Yeah, I've been talking about several topics. You check them out, but for this particular year, I dedicated to money lending. So whoever wants to start does not have any excuse. If you've been thinking about it for the last 3 years, now you have no excuse, because I've shared with you all the details that you need to get you started. In Uganda they say, no tewali kwekwasa, teni chokwekwata, no excuse whatsoever. So let's go to today's topic. How we transitioned from the informality to formality. Because our journey we started when we were informal. And what do I mean by informal? That means we do not have a registered company. So Jonaki Holdings Limited was not registered as a formal company, meaning that it was transacting illegally. It could not sue in case the client defaulted, and it could not be sued because it was non-existent. Just like most of you are operating, perhaps you do not have a registered company. You are operating informally, you're informal. That means you're not recognized by the law. You are informal. So the ideal would be to formalize your business. That is transition from the informality to formality. So we're operating illegally for over 3 or 4 years. Meaning we're lending out money to clients, but we're not fully registered. We had a name, and it actually, for that matter, we had a different name then. Because when we went to search that particular name, when we decided to formalize, the name was no longer existent because some company existed. Here in Uganda, if you have a company, that name, you cannot actually take up the same name. So you have to look for a different name. So meaning that then Jonaki Holdings was not Jonaki. It had a different name, but it was taken on by someone else. Why? Because we were operating thinking that the name is there. But because we are informal, we didn't mind whether the name is there or not. You're lucky these days you can actually get online and search for the name of the company if it's existent or not. So if you're here watching or listening in, and your business is informal and it already has a name, like just like we had a name, it's now time to search. Go to your RSB portal at the comfort of your mobile phone or laptop and search for that particular name. If you want to formalize the search, you can actually pay 20,000 to your RSB. For those out of your country, out of Uganda, I don't know how you can approach it in your country or your area of jurisdiction, but here in Uganda, you have to actually, you can go to URSB, search out the name, and reserve that name. So that you do not suffer like we suffered. When your name is known, you've already done the marketing, you're known by that company, but when the time comes for you to formalize, the name is no longer existent. Someone else is registered in that name. So meaning that you cannot have two names of the same company. So I'm telling you that you actually go, if you're watching me and you have a company name, you've done the marketing, you've done everything, you're going to reach a moment and you want to formalize, and the name is taken on. So go do a formal search and reserve that name with your RSB. So when the time comes for you to formalize, you don't have any trouble formalizing that business or that company. Which challenge we actually had, we faced ourselves. So I intend that you transition from informality to formality. Because before we transitioned, we were doing business, we were lending. But we were facing challenges of defaulters. Someone would refuse to pay you, but you do not take them on. Why? Because you're operating informally. Why? Because you could not take them on. You're not formally registered. They would even ask you, some board clients would ask you, you're not licensed to operate. Excuse me, I cannot pay you. When they actually took the money, happily. They happily came and picked the money from you, but now they cannot pay. They are taking advantage of your situation of being informal to not pay you because you're informal. They are defaulting. So, meaning that there are some challenges you're going to face just because you're informal. 2, you cannot do good business. There are some clients who will come, they are genuine, they have good financials, they have good cash flows, but they cannot give you their collateral. The guy has perhaps his car logbook that is worth 200 million, but he cannot entrust it with you. He has a land title that is in a prime place, but he cannot entrust it with you. Why? Because you don't have a physical location. You're not formal. So there are some business you're going to lose out on just because you're not formalized. Just because you're not formalized. Because you're not formally registered. So there is a difference between registering a company or having a company incorporated and also having the license. But it's part of the process of having licensed business. So meaning that in addition to having a registered company, you actually need to get a license. There are two things. You have to get formally registered first as a company, get incorporated according to the laws of Uganda. After getting incorporated, then you can use the certificate of incorporation and the MEMAT, the Memorandum of Understanding, to go and get a license. And there are two categories of licenses. If you're operating within the Kampala or any city center, you might have to get a trading license within that city center or that jurisdiction, but also you need a money lender's license or a microfinance institution license. If you belong to a given category, because there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. And tier 4 is where money lenders and microfinance, tier 4 microfinance institutions lie. So you have to get a license. And at tier 4, you're regulated by UMRA, Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. So you have to get a license in addition to the KCCA if you belong to Kampala Capital City Authority license. So you have to get a trading license from KCCA as well as a money lender's license. As a matter of fact, it is a requirement that before you get a money lender's license, you have to have a trading license. But before you get a trading license, you have to have a certificate of incorporation and a MEMAT, Memorandum of Understanding, meaning that you have to first be incorporated before you go for a trading license. So these things are sequential and they work hand in hand. And they might look bulky and tedious, but ultimately you'll benefit because then you cannot grow without having these licenses. You're going to miss out businesses because you're not licensed. Even if you get a physical location, they are going to close you up. KCC is going to come and knock at your door. URA is going to come and knock at your door. They're going to close you up before you know it. Meaning that you not operate, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they'll land on you. If you've been operating for quite a while and you're lucky, in quotes, time is coming when you'll no longer be lucky. And you'll pay highly for the inconvenience, but also it might even call for a closure. Because for the sake of URA, they might actually throw a tax on you that until you pay it, you cannot open. You might find that the tax that they put on you is exorbitant. You can imagine if you're operating a business that is worth maybe 50 million or 30 million, they throw you a tax that is 100 million. You literally cannot pay this tax. What happens? You actually have to close that company and start a new name and build up gradually. So to avoid all these hassles, actually there's an option of filing zero returns. If you're not making any profits, you can file zero returns. But you see, you cannot file with URA when your company is not licensed, when your company is not registered, formally registered. So it is important that you transition from being informal to actually being formal. All this information is available online. Search out Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. What are the requirements? To register a company, what are the requirements? Because you need to register a company with URSB, Uganda Registration Services Bureau. All these institutions are available to us. And the advantage is that they are now fully transitioned to online, meaning that you can actually apply for a license or even get registered online. Scan the documents, track the progress of your registration till the final point when you get the certificate or the document that you need. So, there's no excuse why you should actually be informal. And you see, it doesn't come as easy. As the experience that we have is that we're doing our things laissez-faire. You're servicing clients, you're giving out loans. And then, before you know it, the profits that you'd have made are in default. Before you know it, you're operating at a loss. Why? Because as one client defaults on you because you're not registered, you cannot take them on in the courts of the law. Then another client also says, I'm hard up. You're torn apart. That even then, if something goes haywire, you have no way to move out of the situation. For us, it was a different case. My mentor had to tell me, you know what, Jonan, we cannot meet again until you formally registered. For your case, it might be a defaulter. You see, you cannot take on that defaulter until you're formally registered. Perhaps the client has over 70% of your portfolio. You have 50 million and the client has over 30 million of your principal money. And you're hard up, you're stuck. You don't know how to approach that situation. The only thing you have to do is that you have to formalize so that you can take on this client. Now you must realize that it does not take a short period of time to get formalized, to get registered. It's a process. And more so if you're doing it on pressure, so that you can recover this money from this client, it is even much more worse. It is worse. So how about you do it in time, so that you're not doing it on pressure? Because when you're doing it on pressure, it is costly. Someone will ask for exorbitant monies from you to have you registered as a company, to get the license. And some of these costs are necessary. For example, a license is 500,000. It is affordable. But if you came when you're on pressure, you could even cough 2 million or 5 million. So how about you do it in time, when it's still early? So that in case of any eventuality, you have a way out. Because even when the client refuses to pay you, they have to track the date when you issued the loan, were you registered or not. So you might have to write off the loan or approach it in a different way. So backtracking it might also become very hard for you. Backtracking might be very tricky for you. So sequentially, let's break it down for you. 1, if you have a company name or if you have started operating, you have to register your company first. It has to be incorporated. If it is in Uganda, it has to be incorporated within the laws of Uganda. It has to be recognized as a company. If you're one person that is registering that company, it's a single membership company. It's a sole proprietor company. Get it registered. If you're more than one person, still get the thing registered. That is point number 1. Now, after registering a company in the name that you've chosen, then you have to actually get a trading license. Now, if you operate within Kampala, you'll need to get a license from KCCA, Kampala Capital City Authority. That is point number 2. Now, after registering and getting a trading license, you actually have to get a money lender's license. Or given the category you're at, you have to get a license from perhaps UMRA. And all the 3 require you to have a physical address. So if you've been operating briefcase, if you've been operating informally, if you've been operating mobile, now is the time to have a physical location. Because before they issue these licenses, they'll have to come visit your offices. They'll have to come and look at your premises. So meaning that they cannot issue these licenses if you do not have the premises. And you're actually having these premises to your advantage, because there are some clients that will not get money from you if you do not have permanent premises, if you do not have physical locations. It still makes sense, though we are transitioning to online much of the time, but in the financial world, it still makes sense to have a physical location as a condition to get a license, but as well as the condition to get incorporated. So as I conclude today's talk, is that you need to transition from operating informally to become formal. Because then there are some businesses that you're not going to take on if you're still operating informally. There are some things you're going to miss out on if you're still operating informally. There are some losses you're going to incur just because you're operating informally. So how about you do yourself a service and you formalize your business? So as I close today's session, my assignment to you, my take home for you, is that go and formalize your business. Go and formalize your business. If there's anything that you should pick from here today, go and formalize your business. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming through. I wish you a great Friday. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. See you next week on Friday, same time. As I told you, you can check out these videos on my YouTube channel, Jonan Kandwanaho, but also you can check us out on our website, www.jonakiholdings.com. See you and have a blessed day. God richly bless you. May you continue to progress, prosper, and serve those communities, serve those countries, and meet you at the top. Have a lovely evening. Thank you. Cheers and bye-bye.